Hello there, I'm back. Well, I can't exactly say my last dish was successful because I haven't tasted it yet, but I will have done by the time that this has been filmed and set up. I'm making a savoury dish today, and I shall have my last dish, the ginger beer date cake, as dessert. I'll cut everything together so you can see me eating it in the correct videos, but I need to clear some space out of my fridge. It's getting overstacked. I had a bit of fun actually making that last one. That's the real reason I'm doing this. Again, it's more to satisfy my boredom than anything else, but that's really all you're there for. And I wonder why I don't have any subscribers. This particular pork joint that I've got here, it already has herbs on it, but I'm going to put a bit of rosemary on it eventually. Today, by the way, today I'm going to be following a combination of different recipes. A bit of Delia Smith, that goes without saying. And then, although that one uses cider, I should be using beer, more on that later. So, Spruce Eats, Elizabeth Minchilli, and BBC Food Guide. So 4 all at once. A hybridised meal, and who knows, maybe this was a hybridised pig. If so, it'll match. Now, you'll need a lot more than this, or you'll get a lot more than this, if you're using rare breed or old breed pig. But, of course, butchers from which you would order these are not open at the moment. You have to order the delivery. Market day isn't open. So, I'm going to move you so you can see what I'm doing a little bit. You can see how it's already been rubbed in parsley and herbs, salt and such. If yours hasn't, then you should do that. Pepper as well. So the amount that I use will be fairly minimal. For the vegetables and so on, the garlic, that I must add to it. Now, some of the recipes call for cider. At least one uses Guinness. I am going to use this beer, which is called Waggle Dance, a honeyed beer, just to see what will happen. Because I'm going to glaze it with sweetness. Or at least I'm going to try to. And somewhere in here is my bottle opener. Again, I'm wandering blind, but not blind, because my attention is divided in 3 different ways. 4 different ways if we count Delia as well. And, oh, look at those bubbles going at the top there. So, in this goes, in a not very clean saucepan. I'm doing this, by the way, while the pork is in the oven, just on a preheated oven. So, here's some brown sugar that I'm going to put in there. And some honey, which is for glazing. That's what I'm doing this for, by the way. At this very poor camera angle, you can tell how often I've done this. Oh dear, yep, in that goes. Didn't measure it out, but never mind. It says, the one that calls for honey says 100 millilitres. I'm sure I've used less than that, then I used less sugar as well. Because it calls for molasses and muscovado sugar, whereas I just used a similar kind of fine brown sugar, soft dark brown sugar that I use for the cake. I'm going to put that on and wait until it goes down by about half. If I can. The foam is still there, so it might be hard to measure. Back soon. While that's cooking, I'm going to add some extra seasoning for the gravy. One of the recipes I use calls for 6 cloves of garlic. I don't want to use that much. So you can see how here I've just got sort of, well, almost 3. It's more like 2.5. But I've got some onions in there and I'm going to chop those. A tip I learnt from the late, great Clarissa Dixon Wright from The Two Fat Ladies, remember that programme, I'm sure I do, is that when cutting the onions, miss out the very stalk, because that's the area that causes you to weep, and this area as well. We'll see whether she's right after I finish chopping it. I'll let you watch me chopping them. If I can. Here you can see me chopping the garlics why I never thought of doing this sort of thing for the last recipe, but maybe it was because I didn't have to cut anything exactly like this. So I'm cutting the cloves of garlic. If you've got a garlic crusher, that's just as good. Nice squeezer. I've also got one of those sort of salt cellar things that helps me to blend garlic. This sort of thing, garlic mill that you just sort of sprinkle on. I think it's what the Italians use in their restaurants. And here is the onion being cut in half. You can see here how it's come down a bit, and that's exactly what I need, so I'll just turn that down. Just watch me cutting these things up. Lovely, isn't it? Quite delicious looking. So that's the onions done. Here are some cloves added to that. You can just see them there. The recipe says 4. I've used about 8. You can see here too how I've left some carrots to soak for the night with the potatoes. Same potatoes that I threw over my shoulder the other day. Now, whilst keeping that very firmly in mind, I am going to open the oven so you can see what I've been doing here. It may look well done, but it isn't yet. Take that out and leave it to stand on a plate. I need those, you see, and I'm going to add that and that later. Oh, and the carrots too. So the recipe calls vegetable oil, but this is sunflower oil, just to see what happens. It'd be better than the lemon fairy liquid that I almost reached for. Okay, so that goes in there, and I'm going to put that little mixture in afterwards. And you can't really see what I'm doing, and I can't really see what I'm doing. It's like I said the other day, trying to multitask is utterly ridiculous and impossible for me. So this is what we have to do next. We have to put in those onions and those cloves and those carrots. And it goes all over the floor. So that's all in there. We'll get the carrots in there. Just watch as I put them in. Just get a teensy bit of rosemary there. Add that to the mixture. I'm going to put that in the oven. And once everything's gone brown, I'm going to add that mixture that I put in earlier. Here's one I prepared earlier. Always wanted to say that, and on television. And now I'm saying it on the internet, so I haven't fulfilled my dream at all. Oh dear. Maybe, eventually, the multitasking will catch up with me. We'll just switch on the oven. Wait till everything goes brown. Move you further out so you're not in my face and I'm not in yours. And we wait. I'll leave that for 10 minutes, see how it sautés, or how it roasts in the oven. So that's the carrot, onion, garlic, rosemary, clove mixture, and I'm going to add the beer, sugar, and whatever it was mixture afterwards. I'll take you to watch me if you like. Dear oh dear. I really don't get enough sleep in all this nonsense, do I? This lockdown is really, well, it's beneficial, I suppose, for those who don't catch disease. And but honestly, I really wonder where we are at the moment as a species. Can't really enjoy watching wildlife anymore because it's taking over, isn't it? And you don't know whether it might carry something, particularly if it's a bat or a bird. I suppose more of a danger if it came from China, or Italy, or at the moment Iran, but who knows? Well, we'll have to wait and see. By the way, you can tell how often I've walked and talk on the internet, can't you? Right, while all this is going on, I'm going to cook some potatoes and some watercress. I know you don't usually cook watercress, but we're going to today, just to see what will happen. Those are some mushrooms. I'm going to soften them in the saucepan, and then I think I'm going to cook them in a little bit of oil as well. And a little coriander. None of the recipes call for it, but I've got it here growing on my windowsill. 2 pots worth of it, and I need to get rid of it fast. So, put that on. We'll see what happens. Here it is. I am going, you can see how this is cooking here, I'm going to put some of this over the pork by way of glaze, and the rest I'm going to put with the vegetables. Like so. That'll act as some nice gravy. I'm going to wrap that in some foil. Aluminium foil. Like so. And put that back in the oven. So that's in there. And we wait. It's staying in there for about half an hour, but I shall put on some vegetables or do them differently in the meanwhile. Right, here are the vegetables after the thing is done. Just put a little bit of salt in there. I'm amazed the whole thing hasn't evaporated, frankly, after 40 minutes. But never mind, it has been on low heat as was intended. Now I'm going to drain that off. Now that it's drained, into the frying pan it goes. You can probably hear it hissing nicely and loudly. I've halved the potatoes. I've taken out the potatoes and just put the greenery in. I've put half the potatoes in, the other half are in the saucepan for the next serving of pork. Come and look. In they go. You can probably hear the oven going now. I'll just leave that on low heat while they cook. Actually, why don't we take a look? I'm a little nervous taking off the foil as yet, so I'll just turn up the heat a little bit. And I'll stir away at that. Once they're cooked adequately, I'll serve. Oh, and I almost forgot, sweet potato chips. I'll grill them. Right, now, come down here. Oh, by the way, don't come down here, look up here. By the way, this makes a very good omelette, I've tried it. You put eggs in. Keep you at a safe distance. Don't burn yourselves. There's some nice pork there. Greens and potatoes and mushrooms. Just label it out quite liberally. Lovely onion and beer gravy. If you're teetotal or vegetarian, it's probably best not to watch. Probably best not to switch on, actually. And I'll tell you whether it's edible. Just place you here so you can almost see me eating. If I die, I'll just blame the pig. Big gamble, there's a lot of it. Oh, there's a bit of string attached, how lovely. Why, it's actually edible. How lovely. A nightmare this is going to be to edit. Stupid onions. And here is the onion being cut in half. Onions blocking the camera. You see, it's not the pork I need, it's the juices. So I'll just get that out with my left hand. That's not easy. No, even with my right hand it's not easy either. So, when I've been... By the way, I just left the hob or the stove on all this time. Oh, yes. And it feels like it too. Now. Alright. In they go. And as before, some of them fall off the edge. How great. Now. Does that not look wonderful? I'm not sure how well you can see it. You can see the sweet potato chips at the front. Now, bear with me. And don't lose sight of me, even though you have, because, yes, the steam. So I'll keep you at a safe distance. Don't burn yourselves.